What's up, people? I hope everything is going well. There's so much happening in the world today. Of course, as you know, that was my daughter, Dwayne-Ross, singing "You Win." She had an opportunity to actually sing a cappella this week in Cameroon, Africa, by way of a live that she was invited to with Princess Geraldine Furbar. And I got to tell you, she did an amazing interview. And I just want to say I'm so proud of my daughter, walking in her greatness and actually being a product of her father, in the sense of I teach people every single day. One of the things that I talk about is you should be able to discover your tag, your talent, your ability, your gift, and put that to work in the earth. And so many people go through time after time talking about what they're gonna do one day I'm gonna, they get the one day I'm gonna itis. They get in that situation where they're really just saying, I'm gonna be very good at X, Y, and Z, and for whatever reason, they tend to fall off. They tend to find a way to not do what they're given on the inside of them to do. And today, I had a guest, and unfortunately, for sometimes, when I tell you if I have a guest and there's a conflict in the schedule or something like that, I look for someone else to come on in. Or what I recognize is that I actually have 34 shows. That's right. We're on 30, about to do episode number 35. So what I did last week was I brought you Dion because she helped us start season number 2. And if you missed that, I hope you go and check that out because Miss Shaw Bush was just on fire, sharing some really good information. And so today, and even as I bring in new people, I'm also going to highlight some of our older shows because with everything going on with COVID, some of us need to really shore ourselves up internally, right? And that's mind, body, spirit, right? That's mind, body, spirit, soul. If you want to take all four places, and I think we should. I think you should look at mind. The mindset. How are you thinking? What kind of things are you allowing inside your brain to kind of resonate or take residence internally? And then, of course, what kind of things are you putting inside your body? Like, what kind of foods are you eating? What kind of juices are you drinking? What kind of beverages are you consuming? Because, again, these things are very important to your well-being, right? And I put a post out there on Facebook because I'm putting together a course right now when it's called, it's in reference to dealing with wellness and mindfulness, but also understanding how to take care of yourself. Like, what's that self care? And I like to challenge myself with things that I have a challenge with. And one of them is the self care, getting enough sleep, drinking enough water. I got my water right here. You guys that have been knowing what happened not too long ago, earlier this year, when I suffered a little bit of a situation, right? Because I was dehydrated. And dehydration can really destroy a lot of things internally. So you got to be careful about that. But I want to say again, Brittany is using her gift. She's using her talent. She's doing everything with her ability. So she's expressing what I talk about in my book, No More Crumbs from the Table. Now, most of you, you see me here, you see me there, you jump on, you jump off, you're kind of there, you're kind of not. It's no problem. I found out that, half of the people, I got over 1,000 people, and they don't see my show every week. I thought that I had it set up where the rhythm, the algorithms of Facebook has changed, and right now you have to pay to have your stuff sent to your friends. It's crazy that what they're doing right now. They made it to where you have to pay to get engaged with it from people who are already in your circle. And so I'm working on some things right now, actual funnel. And what I'm doing is I'm actually also opening Passion2Proftis TV on Roku television. So there will be a space where all these shows will play consistently over time. And so I thought it not be, I'm not going to take too much time, but I thought what I might want to make sure people understand today is that you have an opportunity to participate, or maybe a friend of yours has an opportunity to participate with the growth of this channel, with what I'm doing here, even with the live. Because now I have a little bit of content that can actually fill a space, and I'm going to continue to grow by getting other people involved. Some of you may have remembered that I talked about Rivermint. Rivermint is a movie by a director I know. Her name is Shayla Spann, and I'm looking for independent films like that. And I'm happy to announce that she will have, I will have my first license agreement to actually air her show Rivermint, her movie, independent film on the channel. So that's a big deal. That's coming. And for you that was on this journey with me starting out, you know that all I talked about was just doing the 31 days of positivity, and then that kind of morphed or birthed Passion to Profits TV. And somebody was asking me, well, a friend of mine, even today, I was talking to my friend Dr. Sabrina Dent, and I was talking to her about my my vision, right, and what I wanted to do with this channel. And because she was asking, like, what is it really that you do? And I said, well, I help expose people who have found their passion and been able to put that passion into the earth and actually profit from it. So that's what the Passion to Profits TV is all about. And when I bring people on, it's for them to share their passion for whatever it is. Now, I had a young lady, that she came on here and she shared her passion for food, right? And it wasn't the first person, but it was a couple of people that came. You had Marlene Davis. She came in and she talked about that raw diet that you can get right from your backyard. That you can set up a system and actually make your own food. And sometimes when you're in a food desert, you need to have that, right? So that show is getting ready to come back to you. All right. I had a gentleman that talked about your mental health, how to get yourself grounded in who you are and what you want to do, and what your giftings have been. And so that's moving forward, right? And then I had this Get Raw with Tammy, right? And Tammy, she's a fireball, a lot of energy from California. Actually talks about raw food diet and getting away from processed foods and animal foods, animal products. Why? Because we're finding that some of us, our children, have diabetes, heart disease, all these different ailments at like 12, 15. Some of our young girls have full breasts at 12 when they should be, in a systematic growth. But because of hormones that's been put into the foods, that's causing some damage, right? And then if you're someone in my age group over 55, we're watching ourselves, get to this place where, a lot of us are lethargic. We're trying to figure out, like, why am I so tired? What's going on? What's draining me, right? And if you're involved in a relationship, of course, you got to think about all these other things, keeping each other satisfied, going for walks, going for talks, and then that late night type time that you might have together. You got to be thinking about how you're going to keep all of that going, right? And it's these animal byproducts, maybe not even the animal product, but the byproducts that are put into these animals that are affecting us. So today's show is actually a revisit to Tammy. And so I'm going to show that in a minute, but I wanted to just remind you that, No More Crumbs from the Table celebrates you with your gift, your talent, your ability, your gift. And if you can find a way to put that into the earth, it does not take a lot to get in front of a camera like this. Get you a microphone. This right here is a Samsung microphone. It's called a Bullet, but it's really kind of cool. Get you a external hard drive where you can put your information out there. Get you a cool headset. Get you some lights, a camera, and it's action. It's time to take care of business and share your information. Right now, we have so many people locked in, right? They're locked in on at home. They're locked in with COVID. They can't go to work. They're working from home. That's why my office, I rearranged my home and got my office in a certain space, and that way I can kind of manage it a lot better, and then still have the rest of my home to entertain and sit down and watch television and all that stuff. So it's really kind of cool because if you remember, I was in my living room, right? And I had the green screen up and I still got that all going on, but it's not the way that it was before. Now, I want to talk about this idea of getting people to come to me in reference to their product, their service, their passion. If you have a passion for whatever it may be, and I'm talking from A to Z. You and I need to talk, and then you could discover whether or not you want to be part of the future of what's going on with Passion to Profits TV, or you want to stay wherever you're going. That's no problem. Either way, it doesn't matter. What I'm looking for, though, is those positive energy people, those people that have already figured it out, that said, you know what? I'm doing my 9 to 5, and that's cool because I don't tell people to quit their job. I really don't. I know how it is because I did that. I quit my job to go full on in my business, and I went bankrupt because I didn't have enough money coming in to satisfy the money going out. It's called cash flow. That's why I started dealing with cash flow and started figuring out like how can I create cash flow versus just run from paycheck to paycheck to paycheck. Now, some of us are still on paycheck to paycheck, and I don't have a problem with that. But there should be something else, another stream of income showing up from somewhere else. And if you're able to do that, that's going to maximize your opportunity to get your tag out into the earth, to get your talent, your ability, and your gift out there. And so I want to encourage anyone watching this to think about, what it is you want and go after it. And if you need help, I call myself the dream coach because I can sit down and take you through a process that will help you get your goals set, help you get whatever it is that was in your mind that's getting in the way, any kind of interference out the way, and help you, deal with what's your reality that you want. Because a lot of times people think about where they are versus where they want to be, and they say, okay, I want this big goal out here, but they don't have taken care of what's going on right now. And so we need to do both. We need to have a synergy between now and tomorrow, and that way you're building yourself into tomorrow, right? You're syncing your job, the work that you do to make a paycheck, with your dream, your talent, your ability, your gift. You're syncing those things up. And when you're syncing those up, that's going to give you that energy that you need that keeps you up in the middle of the night to get the other stuff done. Because we only get the same amount of time, right? Oprah has the same amount of hours. She didn't get no extra hours. She didn't get no extra hours to do crazy, amazing things, right? She gets the same amount of hours that you and I get, but what is it that in her hours she demands, billions of dollars, where you and we're still working on hundreds of thousands of dollars, some of us, okay? The other thing is, if you're an author, or maybe you are a aspiring because you have been telling yourself and other people have been telling you it's time for you to birth the book. Write your story. That's the course that I have. It's a self-publishing coaching course. Well, what I do is I help you self-publish your book. There's a few people right now that might be watching that's where they are right now. I got another person about to come out, Miss Terry Hines. She has a prayer booklet that she's doing. She's about to come out, and she's going to be presenting that stuff. Right? I got Pastor Vernon Lambert. He might be out there. He has healed in 24 hours. That's coming out. That's something that he's been working on. A really, really cool project. I had Almost Not Born, right? That was amazing because that's Mike and Desiree, and they went straight out there. They haven't even done their book launch yet, and they have people just all over, responding to the story of her book. And so, that's the other part that I offer to you, to participate in the Write Your Story course. And in the Write Your Story course, it's really the idea of having you do it yourself with a little help, right? Because I'm not going to do every single thing for you, but I'll walk you through the process, and then you and I will work together until you massage out what you want and actually have it. But I want to, give a shout out to Kelly Publishing, because I have crafted another relationship with another publishing company, and they're going to be helping us with our websites and some of the other things that we do. Because I offer a 3-page website for the author, I offer some Facebook marketing for the author, get your logo designed and your book designed and format your book and all these different things that you need to do in order to make your book ready for prime time, right? All right, so that's all happening with the Passion to Profits TV, Dwayne-Ross.com, and of course the Write Your Story course. All right, so I just want you to have a real cool foundation on what we're doing and what's going on. Now, I had a travel company that was supposed to come on a week or two ago, and they had to cancel. But because of COVID and all this kind of stuff, they're trying to get everything together. But they're showing people that there are still people, thousands of people still traveling, right? And there are some local things that you can do to still keep yourself safe. Now, one family has actually went down to a particular place in North Carolina. They got a house for just them and their family, and they stayed in their car. They drove all the way there. They got out of their car, and they was in a better place on a beach house in North Carolina. That's the way you can travel and still be safe, because you're not around a whole bunch of people and that type of thing. You're not introducing new people to your family. So she's a specialist on putting these packages. They're called COVID travel packages. And I can't wait to bring that person back to actually share this knowledge with you on all these cool places and things that you can do right here in the United States of America that makes it feel as if you went way, 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 way far. All right, so that's a real cool thing, because you can travel internationally right in your own backyard. That's pretty powerful. All right, the other person that had to schedule and reschedule like twice already on the third reschedule, is a debt freedom company. This company is actually designed to help you eliminate debt, any negative debt, not bad, not good debt, because remember, Robert Kiyosaki in his book Rich Dad Poor Dad tells you that there's good debt and bad debt, and there's some debt if services what you want to do. Other debt is just taking money out of your pocket. So be careful for that. And he talks about buying assets and how assets are the thing that if you're going to do something and spend money and be in a negative balance, that should be for an asset that's going to sooner or later start bringing you money. And anyway, that's a company that is poised right now. They're kind of bubbling under the surface, and they're a new company that's been out for years, but the CEO kind of branched out into his own thing, and he's actually helping people understand how to really get rid of all the negative things that's on your credit file, update your bureaus, things of that nature, even increase your credit score. And I mean, they've had people go from like a 400 credit score to 8 something in less than 5 and 6 months. It's phenomenal work that they're doing, but they do it in a fashion that's a little bit different than some of the other companies, and they use a couple of very specific things that the IRS allows you to do. So that's coming. So those things have happened. For whatever reason, we had to reschedule, we had to go back, we get whatever, but that's what's coming. That's on the horizon. Another young lady that I just crafted a relationship with, she speaks in the way of the spirit. What she says is like, hey, you know what? So many people get caught up in religion and church that they lose the relationship with the spirit. And so she talks about how you can connect back to that real love that you had that brought you to the place to even know that God is existing. Because some of us didn't even know until he kind of showed up in our life or something. And so she talks about this authentic living with a spiritual aspect to it. It's phenomenal. Now, we talked the last couple of times, we talked each time about an hour, a little bit more than an hour, because she's also a serial entrepreneur, so she has a lot of different other things she does. But she left her corporate American type work and went into full-time working on her own, and that's the passion. that we talked about. We talked about how she had to pivot a number of different times to keep that income coming in, but she did it in a way that she still sustained a lifestyle. Most people, when they do it, they don't sustain a lifestyle, and some of them do like I had to do, where well I chose to do, and that was go back into the work field. But what I did say when I did go back to work, and I said I'm going to work for the highest company out there. I'm going to work for the best possible, company for a 9 to 5 that I could find. And I decided to go with federal. I had went with the state and actually got laid off. So that's not any. There's no security no matter which way you go, right? But at least you have that base, and you use that base, that seed from your paycheck to funnel into your dream, to funnel into what it is that you're interested in, to move you into this next level. And I got to tell you that this idea of eating raw and getting your body together, that's something I want to bring to your attention. If you haven't watched it in the past, I'm going to now go ahead and move to an older show that we had with my girl Tammy, who she had Get Raw with Tammy. So give me a second. Let me get that going, and I'm going to get that over to you in just one moment. Let me get out of here real quick. some people are saying that the sound wasn't going through. So let me see what's going on. It's been interesting. StreamYard has been having some challenges. We've been having some challenges. We want to make sure that that doesn't happen. We want to make sure the video and the audio is all, working together, making sure that you get the full information that you need, right? And I want to make sure that it's coming across the way that it
Had
should.
women that's exactly what
So
they
let's
did.
see if that's better
And
for you
that
Yes.
guys.
that's
All right.
unfortunate for our history, but at the same time, think about the inhumane treatment of just that one thing, making
Yeah.
that animal consistently have babies, not for love or anything else, but for slaughter. Go ahead.
No, to put it on your plate so you
Yeah.
can enjoy yourself. So, and people don't hear me talk about this. And I said, it's the same way in slavery that most people didn't want to hear what you was doing to slaves.
Yeah.
Okay. But they
Yeah.
knew that they
That
just
they
didn't want to be around black people.
right.
So that I hit home.
You
Okay. Now,
hitting some stuff. Now you said get raw, and I
I,
there's no disclaimer here, y'all. Listen, when
yeah.
Tammy talks
So,
about being raw, she's talking about the truth, the naked truth about
yes.
what we do and how we do it and how it impacts us. Even the incarceration of a pig. It's funny to say that, but you guys get it, right? We incarcerate the pig, then we enslave the pig, and then we slaughter the pig in an enslaved environment, and that
Mhm.
is all still running around inside that body, and then we put it on our plate. So go ahead.
Yeah, so and let me say it, and I'm glad you brought the pig up because I go back to that same thing about the pet. Pig IQs are higher than dogs.
Hmm.
So
Interesting.
when yes, so and if you've lived on a farm and you've watched these animals, you can call them, they come to you. And so when you think about it and you truly think about it, and I challenge people to study the vibrations of animals, and in studying the vibrations of animals, they're just like our vibrations. They cry, so they weep, they know pain. And I say, and a good example for you to know that, get mad at your dog, get mad at your cat. What do? Even if somebody was to raise their hand, what do? They go back, they
Yeah.
run, they feel
Yeah.
down, they cry, they
Yeah.
have emotions. So when you're
Right.
killing these animals, they are pleading and kicking and screaming for their life. Also, we can have that on our plate. Now, I talk about the Trinity, Dwayne, the
Yes.
Trinity of the reason why I decided to go all the way in and what has been on my plate as far as mental on my plate since a young kid is my health, number one, and then looking at the environment, things that have gathered, and then looking at the animals. So if we as people, as human beings, we should connect to one of these three. If we connect to our health, then that should trigger us to change. If we connect with the harming of animals who can't speak for themselves, that should act another part of your brain. And if we connect with the environment is getting stripped apart. They talk about telling you to stop drinking water or reduce the plastic.
Hmm.
That only accounts to about 30%. You can let your faucet run forever, and it will never outweigh the 50, 60 to 70% of farming of these animals and the food that is planted to feed these animals. That's why the forest is being cut down.
Okay. So go
Okay,
back to that Trinity again. Tell us that again. You got the Trinity. You have health.
the Trinity. Health, you're doing it for your health, going plant-based for your health. The second is going plant-based because the killing of animals. And then the third one is for your environment, to keep your environment pure, to make sure that, the water, the land is preserved. And, everybody talks about going green. And the most people
Hmm.
that I see go green are not plant-based. And so
Hmm.
I don't understand, the mentality when only thing that they can talk about is plastic and water And I say, well, have you considered animals? And they say, well, I don't understand. And I'm like, hmm, and just re-educating people. And so once they see the numbers, and I can give them hundreds of videos to watch, then they're like, oh my God. Well, and I just challenge people to think. It's to think. It is when we don't want to think, it's when we don't want to change. So,
Mm.
and that's perfectly fine, because I'm not here to handcuff anybody. I am here to only, create a
Enlighten.
movement
Hmm.
and enlighten and help people create a lifestyle change. I'm going to still love them tomorrow, but it is to reach those who have ears to hear,
Now, you
you
guys,
know?
don't forget that you have a comment there. If you have a comment about something that Tammy is talking about, you have a question that you want her to answer, go ahead and put that in the comment section. If you're seeing this on Facebook, put that in the comment section. Don't forget to like, share, let people know about this. If you're on the Facebook page, go ahead and subscribe. If these have been some really good shows for you, again, this is just a new thing that I'm doing that it's in its infancy stage, hasn't reached
Mhm.
half of the people that I know that it could reach, but I know that the information is vital information you need to use. Now, she talked about this Trinity health, the care for the animals and the environment, and so many people, I see them all the time talking about green, go green, go green, go green. And I've actually experienced this with a friend of mine who was doing some work in particular area, and then started having a health challenge and decided to do like you did, to look at her plate. And when she did, she looked at her plate in a way that she had never looked at it before. And today, her friends say that she looks 20 years younger. She's healthier. Her and her husband are doing a lot of more things than they used to do. Because when he saw the change in her, because he didn't want to do it, he was like, you do that thing, that health thing.
Yeah.
Now, the two of them are on this journey together. So, can you talk about how some people reject this information? And I know what you said, you love them still. But the fact is, sometimes we're complaining about a feeling in our body, and our body is speaking to us saying, please don't give me any more of that X, Y, or Z. Because as you said in the beginning, we don't even know where the food comes from now.
Yeah.
They have released so many regulations on stuff. We don't know what they're
Yeah.
sprinkling on stuff.
Yeah. Well, I can definitely talk about that. But first of all, I telling people or showing people proper way to eat, I first go over history. And I go over the history of the earth and our bodies. And the earth is alkaline. So that means that anything that God has put in the earth, He has put everything on the earth to not only feed you, but to cure you. Feed you and cure you. And so I said, if I wanted you to have an operation, He would have created a zipper. And I said, He would have made a zipper on you. And then also, if He, you know, if He wanted you to eat something to get well, He would not have man go into a lab and put these chemicals together. No, it's already there for you. So with that being said, I'm going to talk a little science, and I'm not going to talk a lot because I want people to be connected. The only difference between a plant cell and an animal cell, because they're basically identical, and they're identical for a reason. So so the only difference is a plant cell has an outer cell wall that is tough, okay? And the regular animal cell isn't, because we got to be able to live in that environment, and it has to be able to, so when it gets to your environment, you can break it down. Okay. And then it has chloroplast, chlorophyll, because the first energy comes from the sun, goes right into what's called a producer, and those are the plants. And then it's that chlorophyll and the chloroplast that has to convert all of that in. So, with that being said, these two things, so when you put a plant in your mouth, a pure plant, alkaline plant, that means something that can be found in the wild, something that God created, something that is not created in a lab. was created in a lab. And I have to tell people this: just because you are vegan, just because you're a vegetarian, does not mean you're eating healthy.
Exactly.
Okay.
Say that again. Say
So
that again.
just because you are vegan or plant-based does not mean that you're healthy. Because if you start looking at all of these farmers and these Monsanto's, Bayer, all of them, they
Hmm.
have been manipulating food for a very long time. In 1924 is when they set up the pyramid to tell you how to eat. Oh, eat the protein, eat this, eat that. Why? Because it was called a money market. You you have a slaughterhouse. You do vegetables, and this person over here milk
Does
cows.
bread. Hmm.
So, and does bread. So they had to make sure that everybody got a piece of the pie. So they told you how to eat so that you could put all these things on your plate because it was all about money. So people have to. So that has nothing to do with nothing. I tell people let it go.
You said,
Okay. So
you said, let it go. Traditions,
let it go.
traditions.
So
Mm.
and in the beginning of 1900s, we did not have we had about four major diseases. Now fast forward to 2020, we have more diseases and disorders that we can even
Count.
imagine. And
Right.
and I said, you have to think of who the culprit is. The culprit
Hmm.
is, all of these, and I don't even too much blame it on the farmers too much, especially this. I'm sorry, I'm in this place and people are talking loud, but especially these small farmers, they have been worked over and they got handcuffs on their wrists just to
Oh,
keep
I
their
know.
business open.
Yeah,
But
some of them.
so if you're talking about alkaline and your body is supposed to be alkaline because your blood is 7.4 to 7.8. So that means the food that's going in your body is supposed to be natural. And that means it's alkaline, alkalizing in your body. So when you start eating food that is made from man, it is acidic. It is not alkaline. It is acidic because man is not the wild. Man is not God. Man did not create it, but man wants to mimic. And people say, why is that, Tammy? I thought it's because we want to feed more people. No, it's called Money. Because if I produce something, because most plants have a season, they have, and if people understand the almanac, they know that certain plants are centennial, do you understand? You can plant it anytime, you can plant it only once a year. And let me give you the biggest thing, especially African Americans fall for the watermelon.
Hmm.
When I grew up, I only ate it in the summer. I
Oh
only
yeah.
ate a plum in the summer. Matter of
Right.
fact, I only ate peaches in the summer. I don't know about you, Dwayne. Okay.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, we started about 35 years ago. We started seeing watermelon in December and January, and we got all happy
Hmm.
because it was seedless. They had to change the DNA structure so that they could plant it so it could grow in that ground. They had
Hmm.
to genetically modify this watermelon. And a lot of them talk about, oh, it's not genetically modified. Okay, they had to hybridize it in an unnatural way. I don't care what words you want to put to it. But when you do that, you change the DNA structure. When you change the DNA structure, it is not coming from the wild. Okay, it can
Wow.
now be
Wow.
planted, but
Mm.
you will never find that in the wild. Never, ever, 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 because it can only be planted only through the method that they now have
Right.
created in this seed.
Some kind of
Okay.
mechanism that they created. Okay.
Yes. So what we have done for over so many years, because see, everybody want to talk about, and oh, well, look at when my grandmother, when they lived a long time, it was a different, see, it was a
Right.
different stuff going on, and we
Hmm.
were active. They worked the fields all day long. They
Mm-hmm.
work, the kids, the grandmom and the daddy. Are we
Mm-hmm.
working all day long
They
now?
had like my grandfather had 12, 12 siblings. It was 13 of them.
Yeah, but think about it. How inactive are we now? So even if we was putting junk in our system,
Right.
um,
We're
we
not
don't
burning
work.
it up. We're not
We
working
ain't.
enough. We ain't doing
We
enough
ain't.
work.
Mm,
he
mm-mm,
said
mm.
he said we ain't doing diddly squat.
No, we ain't doing that. And
Right.
so, and they were eating off of the land. They
Yes.
weren't going to no fast food. What
To the store.
prescriptions was they? What prescriptions were they using? Other
Piggly
than
Wiggly.
what grandmama? No, what grandmama whipped up in that from.
Oh yeah. She said, go out there, baby, and get me one of them root pieces of such and such and bring that over. You gonna see that little thing, it got little berries on it. Bring me that in there and bring that in. I was a little kid in Tennessee, and I
Yes.
remember this one time of hearing that kind of conversation. Now, I don't know exactly how old I was, but I had to be like less than 5. But I just remember them going outside to get something and coming back
Yeah.
in. And I remember my aunt later on, my sister was running outside and she was playing with a pencil in her hand and she fell and she actually stabbed herself with the pencil. My aunt pulled the pencil out, used a regular needle and thread, and then she got this plant, aloe vera type looking plant that was in the that she had plants that she planted all the time, and she
Yes.
pulled a little piece and it had this jelly stuff in there,
Yeah.
and she used that on. Never went to the doctor. My sister tells this story all the time. She said, "Mommy didn't even take me to the doctor." She's like, "Now go on out there and go play."
Exactly. And that's, but see, and we weren't eating back during the time sharecropping and slavery. They weren't eating a lot of meat because first of all, they weren't giving you steaks. They was
Right. You only
giving
got what's
you
left over.
they was giving you the organ meat.
Right.
They was
Right.
giving you the foot. They was giving you the tongue and the head. They gave you the stuff that they didn't
They
want, the
didn't want.
chitlins and all of that. And
Right.
so
Right.
and so you weren't and you had to share among so many people. So your plate, that
Mm.
was not your main meal.
Right.
And so now in today, when you order food, the first thing people order is the meat. It take up the whole plate, and then everything else, a little dots of things around the plate.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think you hear me though. It's
I hear
little
you.
dots of stuff around the plate. And so they want to talk about, oh, this is how we always ate. No, it wasn't.
No.
It wasn't. It wasn't.
Yeah.
And don't let me take you back to Africa or
Take
where
us
they
back to Africa. Take us
see
back.
where
People,
they
see,
ate.
here's Tammy. Listen, Tammy. People don't know this stuff. You are dropping. You said dropping science. You're dropping knowledge. You're dropping what I call platinum bombs, right? It's just these platinum nuggets.
Mhm.
If they pick these platinum nuggets up and put them in their toolbox or put them in their pocket or whatever it is, they can make some really serious changes in their diet. That's going to change in their health. That's going to impact their life, overall life expectancy. Now, I had somebody tell me, yeah, but I could get hit by a car. I said, I hear you. But what I'm saying to you is the part that you play. Yeah. That's what they said. It's like, man, people die from this and people die. I can get hit by a car. I say, yeah, but I'm just saying. The thing is, what are the parts that we can play in our own demise? Here's some things that we can do, you know.
Yeah.
And personally, I've been through a crisis in the last 3 months where I had to take a look at all this stuff. And I'm thankful that they didn't find no problems. We did all these tests and etc. But people don't want to hear what you have to say, Tammy, because it causes them to now pause and have to take accountability for what it is. You're good. Accountability for what they put in their mouth, you know?
Yes.
So why do you eat the way that you do? I mean,
Uh,
why, what's the real why? What was it like, I heard about, you knew some things and you were educated about it. You looked at some things, it didn't make sense to you, but what was your main why?
because you know what? I want to live not only to be over 100, but I want to thrive. Because see, if you look at people who are in the blue zone, the longest living people, centennials, they're in the blue zone. And what that means is They're the longest living people, but not only are they living, they are thriving, which means that, you know, I, how many, when I ask people, in, especially in the African American, and I have to say African because that's who I am.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
that is a mission of mine. But when I ask people, you know, how many people do you know in their 90s? No, first of all, I start how many people in the 80s who not only are alive but are not in a wheelchair, not on a cane, they are not taking any medication, and they're
Mm.
actually outside walking and jogging and thriving. And I ask people to raise their hand.
Mm.
Hmm.
Crickets, huh? Beep,
Crickets.
cricket.
Just because you get old does not mean you're supposed to fall apart.
Ooh, that's a tweet. Just
Yeah,
because you get
just
old.
because when I ask people, oh my knees, oh it's because
All right, so y'all, I know y'all are like, what? Just because what happened? That is getting raw with Tammy. That's part one, and I'm gonna stop it right there to bring y'all part two in a future episode. It may be later on this week because I'm doing an experiment right now. I am looking at whether or not I need to move this to a 30-minute platform and do part A, part B, and just kind of break them in. But I really like the live, and I didn't want anything where it's recorded. I wanted to get the recording only after the live, right? I want the full live and then the recording. So what I'm thinking of doing is like we have the full live on Saturday for 1 hour, and then I'm gonna break it in half and actually repost it just like this, a replay in the week in the forward. So like if it happens this Saturday, which is considered the end of the week, then I'm gonna push it into the next week, 2 days, and go 30 minutes for each one, part A, part B, part one, part two, or whatnot. In the comment section, if you think this was great information from Tammy, getting raw with Tammy, I want you to put a comment. I want you to say something, all right? If you think that you want to hear more from Tammy right now, I want you to say something, because the other thing that I'm thinking of is bringing Tammy back before a series. That's right. I'm talking about getting Tammy back for a series where she will actually break that molecular information down for you, some of that scientific information for you, but really help you understand that relationship that we should have in this earth with alkaline. You know, that alkaline idea. Like one of the reasons why I drink this essential water is because it tells you right here is 9.5 pH. Now, I don't know what they do, everything that they do, ionization, charcoal filter, or what all that stuff is. And I'm working on getting more information about that. I really want to bring somebody on that talks about the water that we consume and how we can do it without, getting caught up in the whole plastic bottle controversy, what do you call it? Not just plastic bottles, but glass bottles. They say glass bottles are supposed to be better because plastic bottles are made from polyurethane, and polyurethane is actually oil, gas, and this steeps into the water no matter what you do. So some of what you're drinking is a little one part something of gasoline. It's just like taking a shower. When you wash yourself up, the soap that you use, depending on what type of soap you use, if it's not a certain kind of soap, it might have sulfate in it. And that polysulfate is actually what you put in your antifreeze. So that's in our hair products. That's in our soap and stuff like this. And the thing about understanding all this is, giving you just giving you a foundation of information so that you can make some better decisions. Like she said, she's not telling anybody to change their life. She's not telling them what to do. She's just saying, hey, here's some info, here's some insight, and when you connect to this information, connect to this insight, it can really impact your life. And like she said, I've been thinking about that too. I'm not on any medications. I'm not trying to get on any medications. Every time they try to offer me medications, I go off on them. I'm like, wait a minute, what do I need to do? What else can I tweak? What else can I do? Right now, I'm working on my weight, and you guys knew that I was doing the walking thing, and I had stopped. I'm getting back on my walking thing. I'm on a bike right now, which is kind of cool, stationary bike, and I'm just getting some things together. And I had an experience in my personal life that I was like, wait a minute, I got to start getting myself together back. I can't fall off. I got to get this together. And I actually decided I'm going to start reaching out more on this topic of raw diet and how it actually is maybe something we really really need to pay attention to. Another one is real vegans. Like now, I have Dr. Carlina. I wish I can get her on the show, but she's open. She's busy on Saturdays. So I think I'm going to see if I can get some kind of interview that's taped, and then bring the taped interview in with her. Go out. I was there for when she grand opened. I went to me and my niece. We went down to Portsmouth, Virginia, and we had the things that were on her menu, where it was mushrooms that you wouldn't even know. You think you eating chicken, and it was mushrooms. It's just like you might be in some of these restaurants thinking you eating chicken and it's something else. I'm not gonna leave that right there. But anyway, hey, thank you for coming with us. Great show, great, very informative. All right, all right. What we have this is good information about food. All right. I think people were connected to this information again, and that's a real good thing. For knowing that this was a replay, and I got these live, really cool comments coming in. So thank you so much, everybody, for walking and riding and jumping and whatever you had to do to make that happen, to come with me tonight. Again, Passion2Proftis TV is designed for you to have a platform to tell people about your passion, about how you profited from your passion. And in the middle of it is educating people about what it is that you had a passion for. You could obviously tell that Tammy has a passion for health and well-being. And she's, like she said, over 100. I'm looking at that too. I want to be one of those people that are over 100, but still doing my little exercise and running around, doing a little something, something, not having no situation where I have to be on no wheelchair, no walker, no whatever. If my kneecaps ain't working right, I don't want no new kneecaps. I want my own kneecaps, I want my own hips. Now everybody's running to the store to get some hips, and running to the store to get some knees, and running to the store to get a new back. It's just amazing. I know somebody got like 4 fused, vertebrae in their back, and they're like 35, 40 years old. It's just unheard of what's going on in that area. So I hope this was helpful for you. I hope that you enjoyed it. That was a replay of my show that happened, like, I think that was show number 5 or 6, because it was way back in the beginning when I was like calling all my friends, hey, could you be on my show? And reaching out to them, and they was like, sure, no problem, I'll help you out. And now we're at a place that I can kind of relax a little bit and put some more meat and potatoes to this. Well, no meat in this case, just potatoes, right? Put some more potatoes. Thank you, Miss Gladys. Good to see you. Can't wait to sit with you, and we got some more coaching to do so we can get your book done. Miss Gladys right here is GladysCherry.com. She's gonna have a website up and all that kind of stuff. I'm helping her with her book project, so I just want to give a shout out. Thank you so much. All right, so this comes to the conclusion of the show. I want to say, please like, share, subscribe. Even if you don't subscribe on YouTube, it's okay. I mean, we're on YouTube and we're live, but we also are live on Passion2Proftis TV, and that is going to be going on to Roku TV. So be careful. You get out there, there's 2 million people. You might have too many people asking you for help, and that's kind of a cool thing. That's a good thing to have, right? It's a good problem to have. So thank you, Dwayne. Thanks for sharing the information. I appreciate you. You're always there to support me. I appreciate all the support that you give. And of course, I saw earlier some other people that have been riding with us, Jamila and Tracy. So yeah, we're doing this thing, y'all. So it's time for me to shift gears, move this to a new level. make some different changes, and I hope that this was helpful. Again, my name is Dwayne-Ross. I'm author of the book No More Crumbs from the Table, where we celebrate not waiting for the crumbs to fall off the table, but going out and making your own, getting your own thing going with by discovering your tag, your talent, your ability, your gift, and you take your tag, your ability, your talent, your ability, your gift, and put it to work in the earth. And here's the thing, so many people, they listen to certain things and they let those things become who they are. I want to remind you that words are picture containers, right? And some words you just need to let go right over your head, off your back, and roll on out because they don't belong to you. There are words that people have spoken to you that are not for you. There are words that people have said about you that is not for you. So don't allow yourself to get caught up in that. And if you're vacillating between should I or should I not, or should I or should I think about this idea of what must you do versus what you should do. I should work out a little bit more, but what should I do? I should take care of my health. I should take care of my heart. I should take care, I must take care of my heart. I must take care of my circulation. I must be aware of my nerves and stuff like that. So be aware of who you are, what you bring, and that kind of stuff. All right, next week I'm looking for you guys to come along with me. As I said earlier, it could change at the last minute because sometimes people have certain situations in their life, and I just make the move from there. And but I look to have a great guest for you next week and every week moving forward, of course, as always. But take care of yourself. Don't just stare at the steps. Step up the stairs. All right, this is Dwayne Ross from DwayneRoss.com. You can go get you a free consultation if you're looking to write a book. You got a children's book on your heart. You got a poetry book, whatever it is, erotica, any of that stuff. I actually do it all, and I help you get it done. So, you guys heard my daughter earlier, Brittany Ross. Go check out You Win. You can find it anywhere, on any place, Apple Music, Spotify. She's all over the place now. Even in your little thing that you do on Facebook where you do a little story, you can look for You Win, and Brittany Ross will come up, and you can put that little song and send it to people. I think it's amazing that she's all over the place, and I'm so proud of her, my beautiful daughter. And so this is Dwayne Ross, and I am